Are you thinking of divorcing a narcissist? Well, if so, then this video is going to be for you. Today I'm going to be talking about how you identify a narcissist, how you prepare yourself to divorce a narcissist, should you be considering mediation with that narcissist, and finally, some of the narcissist tactics that you want to be looking out for. Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tracy Maloney, aka the Legal Queen on social media, and I've been a practicing family law solicitor for over 20 years now. Through my work as a divorce solicitor, I have come across lots of narcissists, both as my clients but also on the other side. So I thought it'd be a great idea if I did a video to help you guys who are married to a narcissist and thinking about divorcing them. So you'll know, if you're married to a narcissist, that they have an elevated sense of self. They show no empathy. So don't take that personally. They simply struggle with emotion. They just don't care. In the same way that your average person will be able to display empathy or show emotion, your narcissist will not have that ability to do so. They will typically manipulate you in various ways. They can love bomb you, tell you that you are the most incredible person, and in the same conversation make you feel guilty for something that you've done. They will play the victim with their prime motivation to always be in control. Control of you, control of the situation, control of the narrative. Once you are aware of that, you'll then be able to identify. What you've got to remember when you're divorcing a narcissist is that they are in it to win. Because it's all about their image and their reputation, winning will be the most important thing to them. This will not be to them what is fair and reasonable and dividing the assets or the finances in accordance to what you need or what the children might need. This will be about them winning, protecting their image at all costs. They will attempt to throw you under the bus. They will attempt to discredit you. They are relentless in their attempts to win, and they will do that at any cost. They will throw you under the bus in a heartbeat. It's not personal. You've got to remember that. They simply don't care. They are all about image, protecting their reputation and protecting their money. So, how do you prepare yourself when you are thinking about divorcing a narcissist? Well, the first thing I would say is get prepared. You know that they don't have an ability to negotiate or talk rationally to be able to work through the issues that you're having. You'll know, if you're married to a narcissist, that they are always right. You are always the person that's wrong, and you have personally attacked them. That's how it will come across. So what you need to do is make sure that you've got all your ducks in a line. Make sure, if you're the one that's leaving the home, for example, and taking the children with you, that you have somewhere to go. That may be family or friends, it may be a private rental, you may have the luxury of having another property to go to. Get ready. The other thing to do is make sure that you keep copies of every document, financial, payslip, bank statements, before you go. We both know that when a narcissist is involved, they will lie to protect themselves. They will even forge documents, they will hide documents, they will pretend they can't find documents, they will cut and paste and edit documents. So be sure to copy everything. A lot of narcissists like to control the finances. So when you leave, make sure that you've already set up your own bank account. You might even want to think about changing your email address, have a new email address ready to go. Have a new credit card if the current credit card is a joint one or your narcissist ex knows your password to that credit card. You have to make sure that you are leaving this relationship as independently as you possibly can. You want to try to avoid as many ties, and further on down the track we'll talk about communication, but as much communication as you possibly can with your narcissist ex. So my first tip would be, make sure that you are ready. The second thing that I would say is, know that you are going to be in for the biggest fight of your life. You know that your narcissistic ex is not going to take this lying down. They are going to try to obliterate you. They are going to drag this process out for as long as they can because they're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to control the situation. So know, for example, that they may agree to go into therapy with you, But actually, therapy doesn't work with narcissists because they haven't done anything wrong. So if you're going to therapy, you're only going to be rectifying 50% of the problem. They are going to drag this process out for as long as they can because they're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to control the situation. So know, for example, that they may agree to going to therapy with you, but actually therapy doesn't work with narcissists because they haven't done anything wrong. So if you're going to therapy, you're only going to be rectifying 50% of the problem. They're the other 50% of the problem. But know that because they're not wrong and they're always in the right, that's not going to fix the situation. You've got to be prepared for the lies. You've got to be prepared for the drama. You've got to be prepared for the theatrics. Depending on how long you've been in the relationship with your narcissistic ex, you'll be familiar with how they deal with confrontation. They don't like to be exposed. They don't like to be corrected. They are always going to come out with an attack. Be prepared for that. Tell yourself that it's not personal. This is just who they are. You've also got to learn how to set your boundaries. There are things that you're not going to be able to control and things that you are going to be able to control. One of the things that you can control is setting your boundaries. Know that they're going to be difficult. Know that they're going to drag this out. So the next thing I'm going to tell you is get yourself a good solicitor. Okay, you might want to interview a couple of solicitors or even 3 or 4 solicitors before actually deciding on one. The type of solicitor that you're looking for is not necessarily an aggressive solicitor, somebody who's fair but firm, somebody who's worked with narcissists in the past, somebody that isn't going to be afraid to ask the court for consequences. I'll come on to it later on in this video, but we both know that your narcissist isn't going to comply with the rules. So your solicitor needs to be aware of the consequences that they can ask the court for, directions, but also that they're not going to be afraid to accuse the other side of not sticking to the deadlines and not complying with court orders, knowing that they will get a barrage of abuse themselves. They've got to be strong and confident without being overly aggressive. If you have an overly aggressive solicitor when you're dealing with a narcissist, that's only going to provoke a further attack from the other side. Now, if you can't afford a solicitor to represent you in the divorce, and that's fine too, not everybody can, become the expert. It might serve you well to even have a one-off consultation with a solicitor, because what you need to know is what you can expect from the financial settlement. You need to know your rights and what the law says you are entitled to. Because once you know what you're entitled to, you can then keep your mind focused. It's going to be really difficult dealing with the narcissist on the other side because they're constantly going to be trying to get a retaliation from you. They're going to constantly try to get you to bite, to react on an emotional level. That's what they've been used to during the marriage. So if you know what you are legally entitled to, the financial outcome, or perhaps if you're taking a children's matter to court, what's in the best interest of the children, that's going to really help you keep focused. The next thing I'm going to tell you is that typically you are going to end up in court with a narcissist. We've already briefly touched on the fact that therapy won't work because they don't think that they're in the wrong. I'll come on to mediation in a second, but typically you are going to end up in court. So prepare yourself for a trial. A lot of times I'll get clients coming in to see me and their strategy is hope. Know that hope isn't a good strategy when you're working with a narcissist. You have to be able to identify or to at least recognize what it is that they're going to do to you through this process. Finally, if you have children with a narcissist, then expect parental alienation. That is definitely going to happen. And I'm going to do another video talking about parental alienation and how you can protect your children from the effects of that. But again, be prepared. You know deep down, once you've identified that your ex is a narcissist, what to expect from them. You cannot be prepared enough. Okay, so should you consider mediation? The reason that I wanted to talk about this topic is because when you're making an application to the court, they do expect you to at least attempt mediation. My experience when we have a narcissist on the other side is that they will be all too agreeable to attending mediation. They will even go as far as to be charming to the mediator and accommodating, and perhaps appear to be agreeable with you, suggesting that it's in the child's best interest to have 50-50 and that actually maybe you should keep the house and they will pay the mortgage until the youngest child is 18. However, from experience, I can tell you that that's all for the image. That's also that the mediator or whoever is helping with the mediation can see them as being a credible and reliable person. In reality, what oftentimes happens is that when mediation is finished, they will simply go quiet. They won't carry that through so that we can put that into an order to then be sealed by the court. There will no longer be an agreement. Typically, they will ignore my letters, they won't answer my phone calls, and if they have instructed a solicitor, who I will then reach out to, typically their solicitor will say, I haven't got any instructions from my client, or my client hasn't placed any money on account, so I'm unable to work on their file. The common theme is that they're dragging it out. They know that you want to get divorced, or perhaps that they know you want to sort out the children's matters. They know that you are keen to get to the finish line. So recognise that their main motivation is to keep control of this, to make you feel as uncomfortable as they possibly can, to perhaps drain all of your money so that you have no money left to fight them in the court system. So be really careful if you're considering mediation with a narcissist. Know that what they say in mediation, they may not act upon, they may not carry through. And my suggestion would be, get yourself to court as quickly as possible. They don't have to abide by that agreement in mediation. They certainly won't be guided by any rules that the mediator may set down, but they will have to listen to the judge. I think the thing to remember is that when parties go to mediation, there is an expectation that you are both going to compromise. We don't go to mediation looking for a win-lose. We go to mediation hoping that the parties can reach an agreement. Now, you might not like all the elements of that agreement, but it is about compromise. We both know that if you're married to a narcissist, they don't have the ability to compromise. So actually, mediation probably isn't going to work in that case. Our expectations of the narcissist will be too high. If they don't have the ability to compromise, let's not ask them to do it. So now I want to move on the final part of the video and look at some of the tactics that over the years I've seen narcissists deploy when we're going through a divorce or a financial settlement, or we're trying to get residency or even contact of the children. You might be aware of some of them, and if I'm honest, the list is endless, but here's a few that I think it's really important that you look out for. If we look at children's cases, winning custody, or residence as we now call it, or shared care, or even contact is going to be far more important to the narcissist than what's in the child's best interests. Know that. Know that they don't have the ability to empathise with what's in the children's best interests. All they're going to care about is winning. They will do whatever it takes. They will throw you under the bus in front of the courtroom. They will attempt to discredit you by producing all sorts of social media posts that have most likely been doctored. I've seen emails put forward to the court that have been deliberately cut and paste jobs so that it makes my client look like the evil monster. They will deliberately keep the legals going. They will agree and then disagree. They will say that the order that you have put forward to them is no longer in agreement. They want it changed, and then they want it changed back again. They are a stickler for the rules, but then will have no fear in breaking the rules. If you break the rules, however, you won't hear the end of it. Be mindful that they will do this deliberately to drain all of your financial resources. What they want is to make you vulnerable. They don't want you having a solicitor to help you, or the ability to take time off work to attend yet another court hearing. Be aware of this. Know that the narcissist is always trying to control the narrative. They are going to try every trick in the book. If they can't damage your credibility in the courtroom sufficiently enough, they're going to try to make you feel guilty. They're going to send you text messages after the hearing. They're going to email you directly, even when you've got a solicitor and they know that they shouldn't be doing that. They're going to make you feel shame for putting the children through all of this. Or if it's the house, perhaps some of the assets was an inheritance that they had. They're going to make you feel guilty for even thinking about taking the inheritance. They're going to make you feel guilty for taking their pension or part of their salary if you're entitled to spousal maintenance. All I say to my clients is, remember, don't take it personally. This is their theatre. This is their game. You really don't have to be a part of it. By getting the courts involved early, you are going to be given a timetable. So when it's a finance case, we only have 3 hearings. So at least you have your finish line in sight. When it's a custody case or a residence case, as we now call it, a child arrangements order, you're going to have potentially CAFCAS instructed. So the court and CAFCAS are going to be working really hard to ensure that the children aren't in the court system for too long. Getting to court early with a narcissist is really important because you will have your finish line in the sand and it affords your narcissist a smaller window of opportunity to cause damage and destruction. Up until this point, the narcissist thinks they've got away with it, the way they've treated you, the way they've manipulated the system. Throughout this process, they will continue to think that they can get away with it. They will be confident in their ability to even try to hoodwink the court. The thing that I say to my clients all the time is, be patient. Eventually, patience will win. The narcissist will always expose themselves. It's going to be really hard to sit back and watch it all play out. They will accuse you of not having the backbone to stand up to them. They will even accuse your solicitor. I can't tell you the amount of times that I've been accused of being a rubbish solicitor, having no backbone, not being able to stand up to them when I'm in court. What I'm really doing is playing the long game. I know that eventually, when I get to a final hearing and I'm able to present all the evidence to the judge, that I'm going to have a really strong case on behalf of my client. Be patient. Patience is key when you're in the court system with a narcissist. Know that they're not going to make full financial disclosure. They've been ordered to by the court, but of course they're a narcissist. They don't have to do what the court tells them. Or they might give you 12 months worth of bank statements, but actually it's only 10 because they've deliberately left out 2 months, causing your solicitor or you to have to chase them for that. If it's a children's case, they might make lots of excuses as to why the children don't want to go. They're ill. They might even book a holiday on your time. The children might be having a play date with somebody else on your time. The children simply don't want to go, is what the narcissist will tell you. Be prepared for all of this. Again, know that they are trying to control the situation. Be patient, bide your time. Always, during the court system, be ready for the attack. The longer this plays out for, and the more that you are not retaliating, the more that you are not responding to their attacks, that you're not biting, the angrier they are going to become. Because you are taking away their power. You are taking away that constant need that they have for attention, even if it's arguing. What then happens is they become more and more aggressive. They will up their game. They will attack you even more. Be ready for it. You know that once you've started court action, you have your finish line there. All you've got to do is get to the finish line. Be prepared for more and more aggressive behaviour. You may even start to get love bombed by the narcissist again. They may try to convince you that actually they want to put all this to one side. They're really sorry. They've attended counselling, they will say. They can see the error of their ways. They want to get back together again. Don't fall for it. You know, having been married to a narcissist, historically what they're capable of. But be prepared for all these changes and emotions. They are trying desperately to get you back to where they once had you, that vulnerable person that would listen to the accusations that they made. Finally, what I would say is no contact is absolutely necessary with a narcissist. Now, that's going to be difficult if you don't have a solicitor. If you do have a solicitor, then all contact can go through them, because ultimately they are trying to poke and poke and poke you for a reaction. If you don't have a solicitor, then make sure that all communication with your narcissist ex is via email. make sure that you're keeping copies of everything. If you're speaking to them on the phone, and I wouldn't advise that, make sure the calls are being recorded. But I do think that the written word, whether that be by letter, email, text, is the most important way to deal with and communicate your narcissist ex when you're going through the court system. That way, you are going to have a copy of all the evidence. Remember what I said earlier, a narcissist will think nothing about cutting and pasting an email, taking out maybe some horrible things that they've said so that the whole thing is out of context. If you have a copy of the original and you keep everything documented, it's really going to assist your case. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that video. They're just a few of my suggestions from my experience in dealing with narcissists, particularly in the court arena over the years. And remember guys, I've done a whole heap of videos to help you navigate the process of either divorce or fighting to see your children if you can't afford a solicitor. Loads of tips and suggestions on how you can represent yourself in the court system. So don't forget to check those videos out. And of course, if you like this video, then please give a like and subscribe.